Welcome to the Christian's Weight Success Podcast. I am Christian Evans. In 2015, I launched my blog, christiansweightsuccess.net, to answer the question of how I lost 187 pounds. And today's podcast episode will be a little different. We have my guest, my friend, my brother, Chris, the Vigilante Jenkins. He is a personal trainer out of South Carolina, Columbia, I believe, Columbia, South Carolina. Man, Chris has so many different accolades. Powerlifting state record holder champ in deadlifts, I believe. Also has his own YouTube channel. I first got acquainted with Chris and met Chris on Google Plus, which was, you all probably don't even remember Google Plus, but that's been some years ago. And we've always kept in contact since. And we even did a YouTube collaboration series called Cheat or Gnaw a few years ago, where we asked you if you would cheat on your diet with this food review item or food item, whether it be dessert, whether it be cereal or Oreos or whatever the case may be. So we've always kept in contact, and whether it be on social media or just actually just texting each other and just checking up on each other, just randomly. And so I bring to you Mr. Chris Jenkins. What's going on, Chris?
Hey man, it's a happy Sunday out here. I'm feeling all right.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. What's the weather like out there?
It's hot. It's about 93 degrees right now. It's been, it's funny because like it's always hot until it's 4:30 here now. It's usually hot between anywhere from 10 a.m. all the way up to about 5:30, and then it just starts pouring down rain and thunderstorms come out of nowhere. So
really?
That's how most of the summers are, but it usually happens between June and July. Now August usually don't happen like that. So, but I guess that's 2020 for you. You never know what happens.
I got you. So, kind of like just with that being said, give us a quick breakdown of a typical day for you, from the time you wake up to family time, to clients, to even finding time to work out for yourself.
Oh man, okay. So the typical day, I get up probably about 3:20, so I can make sure that I'm not only at the boot camp on time, but a little bit before time, so I can get there and prepare. Because my first thing I do when I get up in the mornings, I go downstairs and I drink probably about 50 ounces of water. So by the time it's time to leave the house, it's time, it's time to use the bathroom.
Right.
But that, if you know enough about the human body, that's what water will do. So 3:20, I'm up, getting ready to get showered.
Curl up, and when we come to the top, you want to squeeze. Come up, squeeze your biceps. Down, up, down, up, down, up.
Getting ready to get showered. I work a good ways away. I work about 25 minutes away from here, and that's without the traffic early in the mornings. So 25 minutes away from here, which is in Lexington, South Carolina. I live in Columbia, South Carolina.
Okay.
So, my position is in Lexington, South Carolina. So have to make sure I'm there at least probably about 20 minutes early, so I can make sure, everything good to go before we start the session at 5 a.m. I coach the majority of the sessions, especially when I'm working the morning and the evening shift. Excuse me. And so the morning, I'm there from like 4:40 a.m. to probably about 10:15 a.m. Once I leave there, just depending on the day, I'll probably go and do my own workout. Right now, I'm in a pre-prep phase, which is something that's new to me that was brought to my attention by my coach. So a pre-prep phase, usually I only prep for about 8 weeks because I peak out at 7 weeks. After 7 weeks, I'm ready to hit the platform and start lifting some weights. Mm-hmm. So, but pre-prep phase, I try to fit a little boxing in there, not only just for cardio health, but also my mental health too, because, especially with the way things going these days, everything just had you so frustrated.
Yeah.
And with us, especially with the internet, the way they work, you can't exactly express your emotions. You can't. There's nobody.
Right.
Now don't get me wrong. My wife, I got a good woman in here,
Yeah.
man. I mean, you can't just just burst out crying, because everybody take it as a sign of sensitivity, a sign of softness, a sign.
What did Kobe say? What did Kobe say to Dwight?
Soft.
Soft.
Soft. Soft.
Oh,
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
I might fit a little boxing in there. Go home. Right now, my wife working from home, and it's probably gonna be like that for the rest of this year. And my daughter here sometimes. Sometimes she'll go to a Nana house, but I'll eat lunch and talk to them, let them know how the morning went. My daughter will want to play, and by the time I look up, it's 3:15. It's time for me to drive back out to Lexington again for the evening session. So run 3 sessions in the evening, 4:30, 5:15, and then 6 o'clock. And just depending on the day, depending on the rotation, I'm coaching the majority of those too. I mean, it's only 3 sessions. It's easy work for me, but I think the drive is what I'm never excited about. So after that, I get home, eat dinner, and then talk to them again about everything that's been going on. And by the time I look up again, it's time for me to hit the sack at about 10 o'clock, which is probably a little too late, but that's about the best I can do, especially having a family. So
I was calculating that out. That's about an hour and 20 minutes in traffic. Per se, maybe an hour and 10, altogether, if you're going to and fro twice per day.
And see, that's the thing. Like in the afternoons, there's more traffic, but once school starts back, then it's gonna be even worse. So now, instead of having to leave the house maybe at like 3:15, 3:20, I'm probably gonna have to leave at 3:05 just in case I don't run into traffic.
Yeah, right on the dot. Right on the dot.
Yeah.
I get it, man. It's a busy day, man. So explain to me what pre-prep. So you say you're in a pre-prep phase. So what is the overall goal? Or is this just like, hey, I picked a 8-week program that I'm just going to do just for fun? Or is there a mean to an end for all of this?
Working on the weak points. It's not right now I'm working with a guy named Mike Christian, and he got a lot going on this year. So I'm getting ready to have a dude named Brian Hill take over. But he and Brian pretty much operate the same way. What they really want to work on is they want to work on those weak points, and not necessarily the lifts or weak. It's just me being faster with the lifts, because this is one thing that probably even you, Christian, don't know about powerlifting that me and you never even talked about. Lifts in a meet, you want all your lifts to be fast. And the reason you want them to be fast is because you don't want the officials to be looking for something. Like if you come up just a little bit too slow, or lift a little too slow, that gives them a lot of time to look, oh well, he didn't lock out, or he didn't hit depth, or something like that. So if the lift fast is nothing for them to look for. They're like, oh, okay, well,
that makes sense.
A white light for that, because I mean it was so fast I couldn't see. So just working on speed on the lifts, and that requires a lot of stuff with the chains, a lot of stuff with bands. My lower back is not in the best shape. I don't have the back of a 90-year-old, but I also don't have the lower back of a 12-year-old either. At 38, I took some punishment, and their main focus is just working on just speed and me just keeping my lower back healthy, and it's been working out pretty good so far.
That's pretty good. So for those who may not know or are familiar with Chris,
down, back up, come on, we gotta fight him off. Up, and
download my shelter-in-place workout ebook, Bodyweight Exercises. It's a free ebook, and the link will be in the description box.
I want you to tell everybody what your state record, the championship title that you do hold. I think we just went by that too quick. I always like to give people their flowers. Man, let them know where, what you did to get there, and that adversity, because, you went in one year and you got cheated out. I remember that. But then you had a redemption year. So tell everybody about that whole get up.
I'm glad you asked me that. It's always exciting to tell the story. So, 2018, I thought I had beat a national record when it came to squats. Turns out the rules, according to the rules, which it was all my fault because I didn't read. It's funny that we just talked about that before we got on. But I didn't read the rules, and you have to beat the record by 2.5 kilograms, which is, I don't know, that's probably about 4 pounds. I think it's 2.5 pounds or 4 pounds or something like that. You have to beat the record by that in order to get the record. I actually apparently tied the record. So yeah, so I went through some issues with that, and it really it was a pretty bad start at first to 2019, which yeah, I wasn't too happy about that. So then going into the meet in 2019, the next meet, I say, well, that just gives me a little bit of time to prepare and make sure I get it next time. But me being the procrastinator that I can be sometimes, I didn't turn in my form in on time. So I pretty much got locked out of this meet. And they was like, well, what we'll do is we'll keep your form, all right? And if we got somebody that drop out, then we'll let you have a spot. Right. And my first thought was, ain't nobody gonna drop out. But this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna prep for this mug anyway. I'm not gonna go as far, but I'm gonna prep for it anyway, just in case that that 2% chance somebody drop out, then I'm gonna be ready. And sure enough, and that's why hitting the record last year was emotional for me, because they called me with 3 weeks out of the meet. So really, because another thing that people don't know about powerlifting, the week leading up to the meet, you're not supposed to do nothing. It's not even, you're not even supposed to do a jumping jack. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're supposed to rest. Like, you're supposed to literally just rest. So I literally only had like 2.5 weeks to get ready for this thing, but I was still doing the same lifts that I was doing and doing the same techniques that I was doing, as if I had turned in the form on time. And I went there and I was feeling good. And my second attempt, I broke the national record. It was a national record at the time. Somebody else got it now, but it still stands as a South Carolina American Powerlifting Federation state record. So that was 716.
And that was deadlifts or squats? Was that deadlifts or squats? Okay.
Squats. Now the deadlifts.
700 on squats.
Yeah, right.
That is insane.
Deadlifts was 705. Now again, that was emotional for me too, because I like the last two meets. I did 2 meets in 2018, and June of 2018, just 2 days after my 36th birthday, I got on the platform and I was feeling good. I was having a real good day. Like, I tell you, I was on fire. Like, I was not missing lifts at all. Like, everything was just going, and I just felt so good. But I made too much of I think the jump was too big. So I told my coach, I was like, well, I want to try 705. And I got there, and you can find this video. You probably can find this video on my Instagram and my YouTube anywhere. I couldn't lock the bar out for whatever reason. I couldn't get 705, and I ended up coming in second place because of that. So of course I felt some kind of way. Like, I'm just driven by failure. A lot of guys, like, that's one thing y'all need to understand out there too. Like, y'all fail at something, y'all just be like, screw it. No, I was like, no, I'm gonna get 705. So I tried 705 again in December of 2018, and it was a grinder, but I thought I had it. And then I turned around and I had 2 red lights. So if you get in a meet, if you get 2 red lights, the lift is no good. All right, you got to get 2 white lights in order for the lift to count. And I could not figure out why they didn't count it. I was like, how? Like, if you want me to, man, I'll send you a video of my face. Like, I was literally like, what?
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that, man.
I was like, come on. So I was like, man. And at that point, like, I'll be honest, I was like, you know what, screw deadlifts. Like, I guess I'll just stay in the 600 somewhere.
Right.
And for whatever reason, last year, 2019, I was starting to, the short prep time was starting to catch up to me during the meet. And like after we was done with bench, I was like, I don't even know if I can deadlift. And out of nowhere, I just got the second win. Like during the warm-ups, I was like, yeah, I think I'm ready. I'm ready. I don't know. Don't ask me what happened. I don't know. I just think Jesus just came out of nowhere and was like, here, have some strength. Like it was crazy. So, but I say all that to say this, South Carolina APF record, squats and deadlifts are the two records that I hold right now.
That is amazing. I just remember, just rooting for you. I was, texting you that day. I'm like, man, you got this. You got first place. You're going to knock it out. And even when I saw the video of the deadlift not counting, I'm like, what? Right. And Drew was like, I don't know all the different rules and stuff like that. But for me, I'm like, listen, he got it up. You know what I mean? That's how I seen it. But, when in Rome, you got to follow the rules, right. Whatever it is. But I do remember you coming back and then eventually getting first place. And, it's that redemption story. You know what I mean? Like we fall down and we get up, we fall down and we get up. It's just nothing ever just constant. And even when you feel like you're doing your best, there's still that possibility of getting knocked down by some forces that you can't even control or anticipate. But it's like, how are you going to respond to that, right? And that, that builds your resilience, that builds your character, and, your will is tested. When your will gets tested, man, like, that's just that is a liberating feeling from the standpoint of you not wanting to stay in whatever rut that you're in that is testing your will, right? You're like, okay, I gotta get from under this. So, appreciate you bringing all that stuff into context. With, like you said, the state of, the world, right now, as far as what's going on, and, you let me know about your schedule and your work schedule, and home life and everything like that. What challenges do you face maintaining your fitness goals right now?
You know what? At the moment, none, because everything is going, it's pretty much going as planned. Like, I guess the hardest thing is now with my daughter being home a little bit more, not with her nana, just resisting that temptation to reach for some of her little snacks that she got laying around here, like the chips, the cookies and stuff like that, which, I just want to tell the world, like, chips and cookies are not the devil. Like, it's not, you ain't going to go to hell if you eat that stuff. But, you gotta find balance, and it's really no balance when it's kind of just laying around. Like, it's one thing if you just go, like, we went out yesterday and we had some ice cream. Like, that's a little different than just buying ice cream and keeping it in the house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because we did it that one time and now it's over with. But it's different when that stuff just looking at you right in the face, like,
right, it's talking to you. It's talking to you.
But when the gyms closed for probably about, I want to say about 8 weeks out here, that was rough because it was hard for me to, hold all the muscle that I like to hold. Like, people told me that I was crazy because they didn't feel like I had lost muscle. I was like, listen, I look at myself every day. I know I lost muscle because I had went from like 290 to like 278 in 8 weeks, and it was I knew it was because. It was because of the gyms being closed. So I had to do all this body weight stuff, and which, I hadn't done. I don't do too often no more, but I hadn't been consistent with that since like 2011. Like, that was all I used to do in like 2011, 2012. But I stopped.
Right. That COVID forced a lot of us to go back to the basics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even doing a push-up.
Creative.
Yeah. Even doing an air squat. You know what I mean? It's like, how many air squats can you do? You're like, man, what's going on? Why my knees feel like this? But I'm a powerlifting champion in the squat. You know what I mean? But my own body weight. It's just crazy. It's just crazy, man. It's crazy. Yeah. And so, man, it was just crazy how everything hit at that time. And I was just like, in that time, I didn't know what was really going on. You know what I mean? You don't know, like, is this like the beginning of the Walking Dead type stuff, or what's going on? And like you said, you know, everything's playing with your mental, and the chances of you actually talking back to those chips or those cookies increases. You know, especially during those times. But that's good that currently, you know, everything is, you know, somewhat back to normal, whatever the new normal is, that, you know, you're staying on point with that. And speaking of that, what does this current diet consist of that you're on? Like, are you
if it's a
like tracking as far as calories in, or, you know, like what's really going on?
One thing I just recently discovered, and people look at me crazy because, you know, I've been in fitness for, you know, I've been certified in a few areas since 2015, but just making sure that I was getting enough protein in, and that was never I have never been this consistent when making sure I get enough protein in. Like, guys over 200 pounds, I'm like, listen, get 200 grams of protein in every day. It's easier said than done, but that's another blessing in disguise with this whole COVID thing, is that, you know, it's allowing the real people that know how to be creative be even more creative. The people who didn't know how to be creative. Like, I had to really start getting creative with things. I don't know if you was on my Instagram the other day, but the protein and the cereal, the bowl of cereal.
I did see that. I did see that. I said he focused. I said he got a plan. I said either he getting ready for another meet or something. When I seen that, I was like, oh, okay. I said, I see what he over there doing.
But yeah, just making sure that, you know, I'm just getting the right amount of macros in. As far as calories go, yeah. What I will tell people that's watching this or who will be listening to this, just make sure that you in a calorie deficit. It's so many little diets out there that supposedly go on. This is the diet. You got keto, you got vegan, you got Atkins diet, you got I don't know, intermittent fasting and all that stuff. Listen, nothing necessarily wrong with the diets. It's just that they all got the same punchline, and that's calorie deficit.
Exactly.
Like, well, my friend went vegan and she lost weight, so I'm gonna do it. You know, it's not because they went vegan, it's because they're in a calorie deficit. Oh, my friend went keto. Like, you ought to see the amount of the messages in my wife's inbox about keto this, keto that, keto this. But I really don't. They don't see all the work it takes to make some of that keto stuff that she make. They all the tracking that she have to do. Like, they don't see none of the, you know, the stuff behind the scenes. All they see is the before and the afters. They see a few meals here and there, and they're like, oh, I want to do that. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, one of my favorite rappers, 50 Cent, people be like, man, 50, I want to be like you. 50 be like, no, you don't, because you don't want to be shot 9 times. That's
right.
You know, they don't want the pain that come with the pleasure at the end. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Now, I've seen a lot of your wife's cooking, you know, and me experimenting and going through my own keto phase knows, like, okay, in order to, you know, maintain as far as this keto, as far as diet, right? And context, when I'm saying diet is the actual like food that you have to prep. I understand there's a lot of prep time going in with that, because you have to be so focused on the ingredients that it takes to make said thing, right? And if you're doing it, you have to be on point with it, because it is, you know, you're still counting calories, like you said, the punchline, the calories, right? And everything leading up to that, it's like you have to be disciplined for that. But she has an amazing, you know, transformation story. I'm gonna have to probably get her on here just as well if she likes the camera time. But like you said, it's like nobody wants to really commit and invest into the information that it would take to say that I need to measure my stuff out. I need to stick to this, and I need to, you know, maintain, you know, these calories coming in, and, you know, how much am I burning? And that is so important, right? That is so important. Even a little personal note of me doing the, you know, keto thing. You know, it went from strictly keto to more like low carb, right? And I've never been a big bread or pasta eater. My starches that I went full bore on would be like potatoes,
Mm-hmm.
right? Anything potatoes, fried diet laid to the side, or, you know, whatever. But, you know, I still stay away from that so much. I still have to watch myself about, you know, if it's a party or a gathering or what may have you. But just recently, within this last week, I've been focusing more on exactly what you said. Calories in, you know, calories out. You know, just basically, are you at a caloric deficit? Yay or nay? You know what I mean? Simple as that. And that's how you will be able to see whatever, you know, results that you are trying to see. If you are trying to lose weight or you know what I'm saying, gain weight, it's, you know, either this or that, you know. And I'm saying that to paraphrase it for not having to be too in detail about, like you said, it's like, oh, she lost weight because she's a vegan, or she lost weight because she's keto. It's like, that's not the full story. Mm-hmm. It's still calorie deficit. Point blank period. So yeah, I get it. So what does your current exercise routine consist of? How many days per week, and like how long are your personal sessions?
So you mean like when I work out, when you say my personal sessions, you mean like when I work out?
Yeah. When it's time for Chris Jenkins to work out, he's done, you know, training people or whatever the case may be. Okay, so what is your current routine?
Lifting sessions, and I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to the audience too. Like when it comes to lifting sessions will probably be a little bit longer because you need more rest, because your body is taking that beating. So it's more time and attention when you're lifting. So anywhere from an hour and a half, hell, sometimes 2 hours. It really just depends. Like today's leg day didn't take as long as I thought, but it did take. Like I remember texting you the other day, and I was like, it's gonna take a little bit longer than I thought, but not that long. So I think I was there for probably about an hour and 10 minutes today. Mm-hmm. Last week I was there for 2 hours.
Wow.
Because the way the program was set up, he wanted me to deadlift until I reached my 1 rep max. Like he just wanted me to do singles until I couldn't do a single no more with some band tension and stuff. So that took a little while, which, sorry with me as long as I got time. So maybe like Sunday and Monday will be a lift session. Tuesday I'll do like boxing, kickboxing, circuit type of training, the way, I get my heart rate up, because at the end of the day, that's what's most important, making sure your heart healthy. And maybe like a Friday or something like that, I'll do some more boxing, but usually lifting 3 to 4 times a week, and then maybe boxing 1 or 2 days, just depending on the schedule. I do have this one active recovery day that Mike put me on to, which, is going to help protect my lower back. And it's a lot of different drills. I don't know if you saw them on the Instagram stories, but it's a lot of different drills to help make the lower back stronger and make it a little bit more bulletproof. So, going into the meet, again, lifts can be faster. I can have more energy to go through the rest of the meet, because them squats will take a lot out of you. Them first three attempts of squats, you like, okay, all right, I need a break now.
And me, I told you several times, I hate working out on legs, man. Like, man, get them kettlebells out. Like, man, shut up. You know what I mean? I'm like, Chris, and high key, I'm like, I'm going to ask him a question, but I don't want him to answer with kettlebells. I was praying, I'm like, he going to say it, because I didn't want to do it. And I'm like, am I not going to listen to the squat state record champion? You know what I mean? Like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, he's like, okay, this is what you got to do. And I just, I did it. You know what I mean? And it worked. That's the thing. But, so you spending that much time on legs, and it's not so much the time. Let me correct myself. It's not so much the time. It's you're doing what it takes to strengthen your legs for you. And it just so happened that in exchange for that strength, you pay for it in time, right? But at the end of the day, you're like, okay, I felt stronger. I got that lift, and it was tiring, putting that weight on, but I got it done. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I debated, we rewind back to the diet a little bit. I debated whether or not I wanted to post everything I ate before, during, and after my first meet on Facebook, because you know how people on Facebook, everybody's an expert,
Yeah.
everybody has emotions, and everybody just gets all in an uproar over every single little thing. But I'm really thinking about doing that, but I'm trying to find the context behind it, because my new thing is, you can post something, you can post whatever you want, but you got to make sure you got context behind all that stuff that you post. I remember posting some kind of, I reposted a status once, and somebody wanted to go back and forth with me in private about it. And I was like, well, this is what I meant by that. I didn't mean that. This is what I meant. They was like, why didn't you just put that? I was like, I probably should have put that. It's a shame that I have to put that, but I probably should have put that. So in the coming weeks, I'm really considering sitting down and remembering everything that I ate before, during, and after my first powerlifting meet. And pretty much that's pretty much the diet for the night before, going into the final meal of the day of the meet. And I really want to post that so people can see, but I don't want to post it because
you might want to say that time and energy and just put it in the ebook. You know what I mean? You got a daughter to feed. She like them snacks. So I mean, that's honestly, man, you have the credentials, man. You have the credentials to say, hey, listen, I'm put a price tag on this. You know what I mean? Because that's what people are interested in. You know what I mean? Because this is honestly what you do. I'm all for making sure people get their just due in the midst of, in this web of free information, but at the same time, we have to survive. We have to provide for our family. You know what I mean? And I think in this social media world, that the presumption that somebody can get you for free, your knowledge and your support, and that you're crazy for thinking about payment. I used to get really kind of uptight about that, but then I had to realize, I'm like, well, you're just not my client. You know what I mean? And actually really settling into that, because my clients pay me just like your clients pay you. And the opinions of those who don't is like, it needs to just fall by the ankle side, because we got enough stress to worry about, right? We have enough, things to worry about. Workouts being programmed, the diet, making sure you're not eating those cookies that your daughter left out, or whatever the case may be. It's like, let me just finish that whole entire row. You know what I mean? You don't need that, bro. You know what I mean? And I just go to the store tomorrow. I go to the store tomorrow and get a fresh bag. You know what I mean? I want her to have, you try to find out these different ways to justify why you want to be a criminal in that area of your life. You know what I mean? So we got enough stuff to think about. So like, has your diet or exercise routine changed due to COVID? I remember, like you said, the first 8 weeks, once everything was, still happening or whatever, you dropped about, like you said, about 10, 12 pounds, and you just had to kind of get real creative in making sure you maintain your protein. So either you can elaborate on that, or if anything else, as far as change, as far as during that.
Yeah, well, like I said, right now, everything is all good. I'm just hoping, the gyms can stay open for as long as they can around here. Right now, there's no signs of them closing. There's no signs of us taking a step back to where we ended up when this thing first kicked off. I'm trying to think of some more challenges that I faced, during the whole thing, because I even tried to eat like crap so I could keep some weight on, and that didn't even work because I was feeling like crap. So I was like, this ain't working either. So but as long as I got a place where I can have enough resistance to where I can, kind of hold on to this mass, because I'm gonna be honest with you, and it's not to sound cocky or arrogant, nothing like that. I like being big, because one of my goals was I'm gonna be one of the slowest people around here, and that's what I want. And for me to go from that to kind of just dropping all this weight, it was I was in my feelings about it for a little bit.
Yeah. You felt like you get pushed around.
Yeah, right. But I couldn't get too big, because going into meets, a lot of times I have to put on some more weight, and a lot of times I end up putting on so much weight to where it's hard for me to even move. I might be down, let me see, the weight class that I compete in is the 308 weight class, but that doesn't mean a person can weigh 308 pounds. That means you're just over the limit for the previous weight class, which is 275 pounds. So I come in, like, let's say the day before, we weigh in the day before, I come in at like 280 instead of 275. Okay, now I gotta go to the 308 class. Now, the heaviest I ever been for a meet was right at 300 pounds. Now, I felt like I can move trees and rocks and all. At the same time, when I go down on the floor and I'm playing with my daughter and reading my daughter, it's hard for me to get up. I'm like, okay, all right, I'm ready to get on this platform so I can get some of this weight back off.
Right.
It's hard.
Right.
I've never looked 300. I mean, I hadn't since I've been working out. I've never looked 300 pounds, but
yeah,
I can definitely feel it, and I can definitely feel the difference.
I got you. So what's your take on the current events in America, and how has it had a ripple effect on you personally?
Oh man. I don't know if you saw the video that I posted about, my dealings, the dealings I had with racism, especially being down south.
Yeah. I remember. I did watch that video. Yeah.
It's a real thing down south. I'm gonna go ahead and disclose a little bit more personal information too, which I don't mind doing. My mom actually ended up with COVID for a little bit. She turned out to be all right. But with her being the age that she was, we was a little scared because she is at that high risk age. She does have type 2 diabetes, so we was worried about that. I'm not feeling to go for the whole coin shortage thing. Like, I'm just like I just feel like if it ain't one thing, it's another. Like what it was. They was talking about an earthquake this morning. I don't know if you was around for all of that.
Yeah, I seen that opening my Yahoo, say up somewhere in South Carolina, it was a 5.1.
Man, listen, let me tell you something. I didn't feel the thing. Now, my wife was the one that felt it. I was like, I didn't feel shit. I didn't feel a thing. And then the whole murder one is like, but I will say this. I do have a video coming out soon about, I think it's like my thoughts on the coronavirus is part 2. I do have one video uploaded already about how I feel about the coronavirus. I really think that people just need to stop and take a minute to kind of just think for themselves. I think a lot of times, like with the internet being the way it is and all this information, the world we live in, like we're so quick to trust rumors versus what the facts actually are. You know what I'm saying? Do I believe COVID-19 is a real thing? Absolutely. Yeah. Does that mean because now am I in fear of my life? Do I feel like I'm gonna get it? No, because I've done all the necessary things over the years to keep myself immune to infection and disease. I worked in mental health before I became a full-time personal trainer. I worked in mental health for 10 years plus. So we had to wash our hands, we had to use gloves one time, it was only in certain instances where we had to wear a surgical mask. And it wasn't because of, we thought something was airborne. It was usually because a patient had tuberculosis or something like that. We always kept disinfecting, spray, wipes. We keep bug spray around the house. We always kept cleaning products, toilet paper, like water, all these things that people just all of a sudden do because of the hysteria that the media creates. That's some of the stuff that we always did around these parts. I noticed that another thing I noticed too, and I was annoyed by this, everybody buying up all the workout equipment to work out at home. Okay, like, I mean, y'all all of a sudden want to get in shape and get healthy because Christian told you that you should. Christian told you that you should 4 years ago. I told you last month that you should, but now the media telling you, it's like, okay, well, maybe I'll listen now. It's like, y'all, we gotta start thinking for ourselves. Like, you gotta just sit down and you gotta do some reading, and you gotta do some analyzing. You gotta do a little bit of research before you start jumping the gun when it comes to things. Like, am I gonna go out there and intentionally do things to get COVID? No. But am I afraid? Like, unless people just start dropping like flies, like dropping dead in the street, I ain't worried about a damn thing. You know what I mean? But I really feel like the whole thing about the mask and all that stuff, I'm like, listen, that'll be a whole nother podcast that we have to do about how I feel about the mask and all that. And to each his her own. you don't have to agree with what I'm saying. You don't have to believe what I'm saying. But what I do want you to believe is that I feel like you just need to kind of think for yourself. And I think the state of the world now is like, they're not pushing that agenda. They just saying, okay, this is how you stay healthy. You stay in the house, which could probably cause a little bit of cabin fever. I know a lot of people that's suicidal because of that. What's the other one? Make sure you wash your hands. Like, really, like, my daughter is 2 and she knows she's supposed to wash her hands. All right, like that. You learn, that's some of the stuff you learn at an early age. Keep your distance. Like, listen, if you don't know me like that, you're not supposed to be in my face anyway. So why are we going there? Like, why are we having to teach people that? And the last one, wear a mask. Okay, all these things are not going to keep you immune to a disease. What will keep you immune to a disease is that you're getting a lot of rest, is that you're drinking enough water, and that you're eating an adequate amount of fruits and vegetables and lean meats and protein. Like, all these things are the stuff that's keeping, like, dude, I can't tell you the last time I've been sick. I really do not even remember. It might have been in late 2018, and that was just because I want to say that was because a lack of sleep and a lack of energy. I really don't think I just got that just from, you know, not washing my hands or somebody, you know, passing a cold on to me. I really think that a lot of that had to do with me just being worn out. And I told you about how it was when I was working for that logistics company here before I got the job over at Fit.
Right.
That job was tiring. Like, they wanted you to work like the first part of the week, like the first 4 days, they wanted you to work like 12, 13 hours. And then by the time Thursday got there, it's like, well, why are y'all tired? Like, really? What the hell? Like,
right.
You think you're tired?
Right.
So, but like, I didn't mean to get off subject, but like the whole COVID thing, like these health organizations, like I really feel like CDC and World Health and National Institutes of Health, I really think they need to be pushing that agenda over wearing masks and washing hands and stuff like that. I just really think they just need to teach people ways to help build up their immune system, because staying in the house ain't gonna cut it, because that's gonna cause you to go crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah. So they really need to push that agenda. But you know,
and make sure they tell people that if you're gonna stay in the house, make sure your house is clean.
Right.
I want to watch these episodes of Hoarders. Yeah. I'm like, oh my goodness, if they got a shelter in place, it's a wrap. I mean, they probably got something else in that house that's worse than COVID.
Rats and roaches carry more diseases than anybody. But.
Yeah, there's all kind of crazy stuff. But man, it is, you know, crazy times, and it's great to see you prospering and, you know, always busy and still just being innovative and still just having that push. And, you know, the state of everything that's going on in the world right now, you know, we can go either way every day. You know, you can wake up like, man, forget all this. I'm trying to stay strong. And I just want to flop out in the middle of my living room and just lay out like a starfish. But, you know, you're like, well, you know what? That's not going to feed my daughter. That's not going to make sure these lights stay on. You know, that's not going to make me feel better overall. And if I'm going to have a fighting chance of whatever that's out there, you know, your health has to be the priority. It has to be in tip-top shape. So that right there motivates me alone. You know what I mean? And just like, man, I can't sit down for long. You know, I gotta keep my heart moving. You know, I mean, keep it beating. It's like that feeling, and what I mean by that is like, you know, the feeling of, let's say, before you go to work, right? Like once you're on your way to work and you're training people or what have you, but like you haven't got your workout in. But after you get your workout in, you breathe differently throughout the whole day, right? And it's like, no, I need that. And so the chase for that type of, you know, new breath, that new feeling of, you know, your legs are a little bit more mobile. You may be a little bit more sore in your shoulder for whatever, but like that's the thing that you chase, because you know that's giving your body a fighting chance of whatever's, you know, is out there. And, you know, thank God for, you know, your mother's, you know, recovery and her health, and pray that your family is protected and, you know, and everything still goes right for you all. Other than that, man, just let everybody know as far as your YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all that website, ebooks, anything that you got coming out, let everybody know where they can follow you at and where they can get it at.
No, he did not say TikTok. No, I'm not. I can
it's so weird when I see
have.
adults. I'm like, y'all 35 and up and got TikTok? I'm like, you know what? Let me not judge. I'm working on myself during this time. I'm working on myself by not, you know, like you said earlier, you know, posting stuff because, you know, everybody is, you know, hashtag charming. You know what I mean? They saw. So I'm just like, you know what? Let me focus on me. Let me focus on me. But I still kind of look at, I'm like, you an adult with TikTok? What?
Yeah.
And even speaking of that, before you answer your question, is I've been learning how to do reels on Instagram, and from what people are telling me, because Instagram gangster, they'll take somebody else's stuff and say, yeah, we got what y'all was doing on our stuff. I like it. I like when somebody does that. Nobody else responds. I'm like, so you gonna let them hit you like that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They bullying, because I felt the same way when they start doing the IG snaps. I was like, y'all really just took Snapchat idea and y'all actually made it a little bit better, because I like the fact that I can put music to some of my snaps. And the way I try to set it up is on my Insta snaps, I try to put songs that kind of relate to what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's what I like about that. But you can find me on Instagram, Chris_the Vigilante. You can find me on Facebook as Chris Jenkins. Snapchat, you add me as BMagic29. Now that's to be spelled BMAJIK29. That's BMagic29. I don't have Twitter because I'm still, like I said, I got a whole lot of apps that I be trying to keep up with. Like I have my own wife just be buzzing my phone even when I'm not playing Words with Friends in a timely manner as I should.
Oh, I used to play that a lot. I had to delete it. I was just playing it too much.
Yeah, gave up on that. But YouTube, you can find me Chris the Vigilante on YouTube. Any kind of fitness content, nutrition content, I try to post that. I try to mix it up on my YouTube too every now and then. I might do a sneaker review here and there. I do share a lot of my personal stories, like stuff outside the gym. If you not my latest video, but my second to last video, I talked about some of the racism that I encountered, you know, growing up and even as an adult, about all the racist issues. So you're liable to find a little bit of anything on my YouTube, but it's mainly just fitness and nutrition. I try to stick to that, but sometimes I just feel the need, like I was like, this needs to be said and people need to see this. So I'll put it there.
Right. And they can find all those links to your social media accounts on your website, your official website, your official website. It has everything that can link towards there, right?
Y'all, this is why I like this dude, because one time I made an intro for my YouTube videos. And I was like, Christian, what do you think of this? He texted me back. He was like, dude, what the hell is wrong with you? Put the website up there. I was like, oh yeah, duh. That's why I rock with this dude, because he seemed to always find something that I got missing. But my website is vigilantefit.com, and basically it talks about basically everything we talked about on here. It's got where you can like book one-on-one sessions or something, book online sessions. I'm mainly trying to stick to online sessions until this COVID thing get finished. You can also see me as the head Fit Body boot camp coach at you can follow us at LexingtonFitBody.com. We on Instagram as Lexington Fit Body Instagram Lexington Fit Body, and then on Facebook Lexington Fit Body Boot Camp.
I gotcha. All righty, and that will do it for today's podcast episode. I appreciate Chris the Vigilante taking time out of his busy day, and he's got to do his family time thing, or probably just soak in the in some Epsom salt for those legs. Probably catch some NBA basketball, and we have not pretty much had a sit down conversation, honestly, since kind of like all this COVID stuff coming out. So even when you see on this video or whatever you're listening to, like this is all like legit. You know, I'm always happy to see my brother. He's always got a smile on his face, and yeah, man, it's great to see you. Great that your family's in full health and everything like that. Yeah, man, wish you the best and much prosperity, man. Love, man.
The same to you, brother. Hey, man, thanks for having me up here.